Are you ready to visit the motherland to relax and rejuvenate? Are you ready to explore all that Africa has to offer? Then check out the brand new Diversified Game Academy course, Prepare for My First Trip to Africa. Are you worried about being able to afford the trip? We got you. We will show you how to travel either on a budget or as a baller. Learn how to stress the value of the USD. Did you know that 100 United States dollars is worth over 1,000 South African rand or 10,000 Kenyan shillings or 54,250 West African CFA? Are you worried about taking your kids? Get the game from Kellen Cash, a bona fide world traveler, having traveled to almost 20 countries, several of those in Africa. Get the game on taking your kids on their first trips. Learn how to find the best tickets, get the visas, and plan your own adventures in Africa. Don't let Eddie Murphy have all the fun. Plan your own coming to Africa trip starring you, produced by you, and featuring you. If you are ready for a life-changing experience, sign up for our course today, Diversified Game Academy. Get prepared and purchase at diversifiedgame.com.
Finding the right real estate professional can be challenging. I'm broker Melissa Wilson. I'm knowledgeable in all aspects of the real estate process. So whether you're looking to buy new or an existing home or have a commercial need, I'm here to help.
Make sure you pick up my two books that's in Amazon right now. The first one is Passive-Aggressive Racism and the System of White Supremacy. And I talk about in that particular book how the system of white supremacy really runs and on our daily lives here in America. In our latest book, 7 Steps to Decolonize the Mind, we go through those steps to try to deprogram you from the system of white supremacy. Make sure you can pick up those books on Amazon.com.
Introducing the African Diaspora News Channel app, your gateway to stories that's overlooked by the corporate mainstream media.
At African Diaspora News Channel, we cover stories that don't receive mainstream attention, and we serve as the voice to the global Black community. We are committed to informing and educating through the power of media, connecting the African diaspora one story at a time.
With our platform, we're helping to end injustice by exposing it.
Join us in standing for excellence in journalism and serving our community. Download the African Diaspora News app today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we finally hit October. Boy, it went by in a breeze, right? October 1, 2024. We have, not that long. Is it 36? Well, this month got 31 days, so 36 days, I guess, or so, right? For everybody to go out to officially vote. I don't know how many of you are ready to register to vote and ready for early voting. I know some people are voting in their states right now. Some people are doing mail-in ballots and all of that. I won't be able to vote till the 21st here in Texas. So we always want everybody to go out on early voting the first day. That'll be the best way, the first day or whatever way. Just do early voting because you can get turned off by that mess on the 5th, right? You can be like, all these people, man, I ain't trying to be out here. So just always early vote. You go in, you go out, you're done, right? All right, cool. Glad y'all here. Man, letting everybody, just okay. Just seeing who all coming in, right? Move over a little bit. I was kind of out of the frame. You say, well, I'll be watching the vice presidential debate later after I finish this. Because I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, if it was Trump and Kamala, I'll probably be watching it right now. If it was them two, because, Trump will say something crazy. But them two, I'll watch it later. It's not that important to me as of right now, because let's call it what it is. But glad all y'all are here today. Glad all y'all are here as y'all coming in.
A few things, before we get started. It won't be that long. Definitely, let's see, November, December. Hold on, November, December, January, February. Yeah, about be 5 months. Now about 5 months or so out from the Ethiopia trip. Trust me, it won't be long because once you get to about October, then you hit November and December. Them months go by very, very fast, ladies and gentlemen. So if you are going to Ethiopia with us, let's make sure you keep up, with all your payments and all that fun. As I said before, we're thinking about going to different cities next year. So if you're that kind of person who's an event coordinator or you got a great venue, let us know. That way we can look at it, see what the budget's at, and do some of these things here. Other things that we're thinking about for 2025 that we really got to do, get some of these shows off the road that's on the whiteboard next to me. We get things like that we got to do. So we also appreciate everybody downloading the African Diaspora News Channel app and the Google Play and Apple App Store. Right now, they have a strike right now with the longshoremen. And it's about 45,000 of them striking right now. They say they're not going back to work until they get a new contract. And one part of their contract I thought was interesting. Now, the money part, okay, I get the money part. I actually get the money. I'm with them about getting their money. Fine. Even though some people say they make X amount of dollars a year, yeah, but that work is dangerous. Very, very dangerous, okay, what they're doing. And so, yeah, should they get paid? Yeah. Okay, give them some more money. Inflation then went up. But the only issue that they're saying that is going to be a problem, at least from what I see, they want in their new contract no automation. In other words, they don't want you automating everything. They want it to be manual labor for everything because they say that when they automate, then it cuts down jobs. Well, now, I think it's a little easier for you to get the money than for you to tell them they can't automate. How are you going to tell the companies they cannot automate? I mean, that's like telling somebody, well, you know what, the personal computer that came out, so in order for us to go back to work, you can't have a personal computer no more, right? Because the personal computer put people out of a job. It did. These cell phones have put people out of a job. Apps on these phones that put people out of a job. There's a lot of things you can think of as modern convenience right now. The internet has put a lot of people out of a job. People that are working remotely from overseas doing American jobs right now who working in the Philippines somewhere. They could be in China in their homes doing jobs that's essential right here in America. And that's put people out of work. So if you go down every technology advance that we've had, it's put people out of work. Self-checkout has put people out of work, right? It has. When they change all these cars to all this computerized stuff that's going on now, that's put some people out of work. Only certain people can work on it. My thing is get with the times, get with the program. See, don't be that kind of person that you want to be stuck in the old way. You got to move with the times. And the time says automation is coming. Okay, well, automation is coming. Then you may need to go learn how to fix all the machines. That way, if anything go down, you can fix it. Or you may need to know how to program the software, or maybe work with the AI or whatever. Be valuable is what I'm trying to tell black folk. Be valuable. Because the biggest problem that we have as black people is that all these new technologies come on board, and then we're always the last one to the party. After the folks that made all their money, the Asians that made their money, the Arabs that made their money, everybody that made their money, and then now here we come at the end, and we're like we discovering it like it just happened yesterday. Don't be behind the curve, be in front of the curve. That's just what I want to say to our people, you know. But to tell the shipping companies you can't automate. Now, I'm going to do a video on Emancipation Media about, I saw a video about automation and how automated dock look in Los Angeles. And hey, it's for real about the automation, but it's coming. Because let's call it what it is. The robots they're not going to call off sick. The robots, you don't have to pay federal, state taxes on them. You don't have to give them insurance. They're not going to get pregnant. They're not going to have to go to graduation for their kids. They're not going to have to stay home because their dog ate something outside and you had to take the dog to the vet. These things just not going to happen with automation. I'm just being 100 with you. You know, some people may not like what I'm saying, but I'm a realist. So they want to invest more into automation, and you can't stop that. And like I said before, if you really think those people is going to sit there and not get things done, even though I heard they rerouted a lot of ships to L.A. because they don't have a strike over there in the West Coast. But be careful because the migrants will love to take your salary the way it is now. Forget the increase. They want to take your salary now. So just be careful because there's a lot of migrants here that Biden has flooded this country. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, checking some things out what y'all saying. So let's go ahead on and jump on this the thing here. Then we're going to get to talking about our topic. We ain't going to take too much longer, but I just want to just kind of put that out there about the longshoremen out there because they're striking and some of them guys make up to $200,000 a year, some of them. And I get they want more money. I get it. And I'm not against them. But you can't stop automation. You just can't stop it. But all right, let's go on and kick in our favorite reverend.
I have the courage to denounce the black bigot. I think Roy Ellis is no good, and I denounce him. That's a lot of crap. Brother, you have your time. That's a lot of crap. Brother, and I got
Count indictment in Manhattan that accuses him of diverting hundreds of thousands of dollars to his personal use after using fraud, grand larceny, and false business records to solicit funds from such diverse contributors as Don King, the boxing promoter, and Don Trump, the billionaire. Sharpton will be arraigned on state income tax charges later in Albany. In Manhattan Supreme Court, Reverend Sharpton was formally accused of taking in more than $250,000 for his national youth movement. The money allegedly was donated over a 3-year period to support youth programs, but State Attorney General Robert Abrams says lots of that cash went into Al Sharpton's pockets. About all the charges, they say he stole money.
Same charges that Dr. King had, same charges gone. Where's all of the mob money? Where's the ticket scale? This is disappointing. I thought we could do better. What about not filing for taxes? What about it? Black people don't owe no taxes. We ain't got no rights. They like my hair.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Al Sharpton. Oh, yeah, and do y'all know John Amos had passed away? The father from Good Times, James Evans, better known as James Evans. He's passed away at 84 years old. According to what they were saying, just natural causes. And, definitely, condolences to Mr. Amos's family and losing a loved one. Boy, I was watching Good Times actually yesterday. They've been playing it a lot on Tubi because, my wife will cut on Tubi and just leave it on. So, Good Times pop up, and so Good Times are running on Tubi. So, shout out to him. Shout out to him. All right, ladies and gentlemen. All right, class is in session. Let's go ahead on and get this work done real quick. All right, as always, as we talked about, a little earlier, make sure that you get registered to vote so you can participate in this election that's coming up. This election will be here sooner than you know it. So make sure you go to vote.gov, ladies and gentlemen, to register and participate. What is the point of complaining if you're not going to participate in the process? You can vote for a lot of people on the ballot. Now, me, I'm doing vote against blue no matter who. And that means you can vote if you want to participate with me. Then that means anybody else you can vote for that maybe look into their record and look into what they're offering. And whether it's third party, fourth party, fifth party, 20th party, I don't care. Just vote against blue no matter who because they don't respect black Americans. Look at what they did in California with reparations. I think they should have a political consequence at the voter booth for what they did in California. But go to vote.gov to make sure you register to vote today. All right. So Martin Luther King III, the son of Martin Luther King, our great brother Martin Luther King. You know, I saw this maybe less than an hour across the news wire, and I said, interesting assessment here. So let's put this up real quick so y'all can see exactly what I saw. MLK's son helps form a new black-brown coalition. Now, Black Americans, foundational Black Americans have already tried this, okay? They already tried. And we have seen, it don't matter what coalition, so-called coalition that Black Americans was trying to do, whether black and brown, which, you know, there's no such thing as a brown group of people. Is the people I think you're talking about, they are Hispanic, Latino, whatever names you want to call them, but let's say Hispanic here. That's what's on the census. They say Hispanic. They don't call them brown on the census. So you're basically saying a black Hispanic, I guess, coalition. Now, I'm not hearing Hispanic people as a collective asking for any kind of coalition with black folk. And why should they? They have their own issues they have to solve, just as much as Black Americans have our own issues that we need to solve. So we just go through this real quick because I want to point something out to y'all. So it says the son and daughter-in-law. It says the late Martin Luther King Jr. has spearheaded efforts to create a national Black Latino coalition similar to the one of the civil rights leaders sought to launch before his assassination. So basically saying Martin Luther King Jr. wanted a black and brown coalition. And we know LULAC did not want that. We know that. We know the famous saying from Felix Tijerina. Okay, he said he did not want to ally with us. He said our problems are our problems. All right, cool. We cool with that. They said Martin Luther King III and his wife, Andrea King, said to Axios that now is the right time to start the Black-Brown coalition as income inequality grows and voting rights are under attack. They said, yes, but previous similar attempts faltered or struggled to stay afloat long-term due to infighting and competing agendas, though many local coalitions have worked together for years. And let's talk about that. When they talk about competing agendas, listen, our issues of reparations, anti-Black hate crime bill, the history of what Black Americans have did in this country and what we need, the wealth gap, the mass incarceration, all the different things that we have is going to be opposed to any group. Other groups aren't fighting for reparations and other things like that. When they hear us talk about reparations in their mind, hey, that could take away from resources that I'm trying to get. So no, I don't want them Black Americans to get reparations. And why would they join in, or any group join in, with Black Americans talking about any kind of reparations when they want to make sure their group is good and their group get all the resources that they need? So of course infighting is going to happen, right? Black Americans don't benefit from immigration whatsoever. Though there are some, not all, but there's some Hispanics that support illegal immigration or legal immigration, right? There are some. And then there's some that don't support it, right? There's issues that Black people are talking about even with racism, anti-Black racism. That even happens in that group as well. Now you see in Los Angeles, California, you see some of their gangs are spraying NK on things, right? Which means ninja killer. They're spraying this. How can you really have a coalition when you have people that have anti-Black racism? That's what I'm trying to figure out. And like I always said, to all these groups out here, we have never went to your homeland, took your resources, taken out your leaders, corrupted your leaders. We never paid nobody off. We never did nothing to mess up your homeland. But then when some of you come over here to the United States of America, you don't look at the one that messed up your homeland. Oh, no. You want to be next to the one that messed up your homeland, but you got issues and problems with Black Americans. And once again, I'm not saying all, but I'm talking about to those who do, because I'm a realist. I understand. Now let's continue. All right. So they say the latest ever comes as a share of Latinos in the U.S. 19% have over the past 20 years surpassed that of Black Americans, say 12%. How we stay at the same? That's so stupid. We are not 12% of the U.S. population. Stop lying. How? There's no way you can keep a population at 12% forever. There's no way. Either that population is going to go down or it's going to go up. But you can't hold a population. That's what the media says. I do not believe Black Americans are 12% of the population. And you talk about the Latino population, right? Let's talk about that. Their population was inflated due to mass immigration in the millions. There's no way Black Americans can keep up with that. Now, I say the demographic change has sometimes led to tensions and distrust in cities like Chicago. Now, I say the formation of the coalition was announced on the recent Democratic National Convention. More details about its planned work will be unveiled at a conference on Wednesday at the University of the District of Columbia in Washington. They're talking about the Nonpartisan Initiative is by King's Group, the Drum Major Initiative, and Me Familiar Vote, an advocacy group seeking to encourage Latino civic participation. They say the goal will be to increase civic participation and political representation, tackle hate crimes, push for elected leaders to talk about poverty and income inequality. While it's not a new effort, it is new and renewed effort to bring communities together to forge an agenda that's representative of Black and brown communities. Now they talk about the rise of hate crimes and separation of families because the immigration policies compel both communities to unite. Hold on. How is it that that's our issue or problem as a Black American community when we got thousands of problems that we got to solve? So basically what you want, Martin Luther King III, you want Black Americans to go back to that stupidity. The stupidity is you're advocating for groups that's not advocating for you. We've tried that already. We did it with the Asian community. We've did it with Arabs, East Indians, anybody you could think of. Black Americans have tried to ally. And in the end, Black Americans was sitting there holding the bag. Prime One says Dr. King told Black people, he said he led them into a smoking house of Babylon. He said, what the hell wrong with his, he said, whip of a son. They say with this brown and Black catastrophe. Listen, this is the thing which is sad. There's no brown or Hispanic people begging for some coalition with Black people. At least, Martin Luther King III, at least let it be another group trying to get us to ally with them in a loud voice or something, right? You want us to go back to that, and then we go stand in the gap. We go fight. Well, okay, what are we supposed to do? Go vote Democrat? Because you know he's a Democrat. Well, we supposed to go vote Democrat, put Kamala Harris in there, and then Kamala Harris is going to do mass amnesty. She's going to flood the zone even more when she get in office. And then tell me, Martin Luther King III, how is all of that is going to benefit Black Americans specifically? Because last time I checked, we haven't been getting some of them migrant checks. Last time I checked, Black people homeless in New York haven't been staying in a row hotel. Last time I checked, them shelters for the migrants didn't have no Black people in them. Now, you may have some Black immigrants that came in from the African continent, Caribbean, but they was not the majority. And you know this. So, but Black Americans specifically, how are we going to benefit from that? We've learned our lesson from that, Martin Luther King III. Okay? We learned our lesson. There's more issues why a quote-unquote coalition would never work, and we're going to get to one of the best clips ever that highlights this. But let's get back to the screen here. So they're saying they tied the infrastructure in the nation. They said on purpose, making us fight each other. It said for political representation. It says a Hector Sanchez Barba. They said this is about unity. They said Martin Luther King Jr. started to organize Black Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, and white Americans for Poor People's March before his assassination. They said King had sent telegrams to Farm Workers Union, Cesar Chavez, and met with Chicano movement leaders ahead of the planned march. Now they talk about Latinos and Black Americans start to build alliances. It's a sense of time of enslavement. And yes, this did happen. Mexican Americans in Texas. It's help Black people escape the bondage through the Underground Railroad to Mexico. Well, they weren't Americans at the time, via a series of clandestine paths and secret homes. It's a Mexican American scholar, George Sanchez, correspondent NAACP lawyer, Thurgood Marshall on strategies for court challenges to school segregation before the 1954 landmark Brown decision. They talk about the Black Panthers, and they talk about the Latino Black Coalition in Houston led to the election of Barbara Jordan. But you know how I look at all that? I look at all that as individuals who have done things and not a group. See, it's a difference when, listen, I will ally with any individual, listen to the word I'm using, I will ally with any individual who's trying to work with the Black community. I will ally with them. If they need something, I help them out too as an individual. I don't go and so, well, because just one individual or a couple of individuals did it, now I'm going to go and cape for the whole group. No, because when we blindly caped for the whole group based on color, because that's what we did it for. Well, they got a little melanin to their skin, and, you know, I just feel bad because look how the folks treating them. But then the folks treat them a certain way, and then they turn around and want to be with them. Now, once again, I'm not saying all doing it, but come on. How many of you have worked jobs? Let me tell you some stories on jobs that I've worked at. So I was working at this one particular petrochemical plant, and they put me on a crew, and the crew, it was all the folks on it, and they had one Mexican-American gentleman. And when I showed up on the job, he immediately beelined to me. And he said, "Man, I'm so glad you're here." And I said, "What's your name?" He said, and he told me his name. I said, "Okay." I said, "Why you say that?" He said, "Man, I'm so sick and tired of these folks over here." He said, "Man," he said, "it just oh," and then he said, then he told me this even in their own community they had these issues, talking about selling out. He said, you see some of these over here who think they Mexican too. He said, but they got a big cactus growing out their forehead. He said, but they act like they one of them. He said, I can't stand them either. So he said, nah, man, I'm gonna chill with you. I'll show you the ropes or whatever. I said, okay, cool. So, me and him became real cool. Real cool over the years. He looked out for me. I looked out for him. We go to each other's house, different events. You're real cool man, real cool. Told me some things that I thought that maybe some things that happens in our community. He said, oh no. We said, we sell each other out every day too. She said, I think we worse. I said, okay, all right. But I worked jobs where you had them thinking they were white and they hated their own people and they for sure didn't like Black people. I worked around them kind. Sure enough. Case in point, that's one reason why this quote unquote, this coalition has never worked. Now, let me play you a clip from MSNBC from a Maria Hinojosa. Let me play what she had to say. Let me get to Maria's clip real quick. And this is the biggest problem why that particular coalition will never work.
She has a 14-point lead, but it has been shrinking after each consecutive presidential election from 2016. Right. Why is that? Why is the Democratic share of the Latino vote shrinking?
And what I said to you when we asked the question was, Latinos want to be white. They want to be with the cool kids. They want to be, asking Latinos all the time, and they just say, well, ese Donald Trump es tan buen negociante. He's such a good businessman. It's like, no, he's not. He had bankruptcies. But they don't want to be identified with all of those other immigrants that Donald Trump speaks so badly of, including me as a Mexican immigrant. So they're like, let's be with him. But those numbers, they could cost Kamala Harris the election. Everything that I've been saying that Latinos could push her over the top, these are the numbers that could also take her down.
Sorry about that. Sorry about that. hold on, what's this sound? Okay, yeah, thank you. I got a message from Sister Demetra said I was on mute. Sorry about that. How long was I on mute? I don't even know. How long was I on mute? Man, okay, cool. How long was I on mute? I'll fix it in the end. But what I was saying with that particular thing there is this. Their issues and their problems and what they choose to do in their particular community is their issue, their problems, their community. Of course, she was kind of shilling a little bit for the Democrats, and that's fine if she wants to shill, but we can't focus on their issues and problems. Now, if you look at the bottom, what I was saying earlier, look at the bottom, we say Black Americans being on code is the only coalition that we need. That's it. Now, what do I mean by that? If you look at what's happening with delineation, you notice things are starting to get done. You notice people are getting real nervous about delineation. Everybody's, having an issue with it. You notice that people are getting upset that we're not coming to everybody's rescue like we used to. Every group, is saying something about why Black America's not saying something. You got the Palestinians are saying, why y'all not saying nothing? And say, hey, we don't know enough. We got issues over here we need to fix. So, hope y'all work that out. You got the Israelis saying the same thing. Why don't y'all say nothing? It was like Michael Rappaport, right? Hey, we don't know enough. And anytime we definitely say something, somebody going to accuse us of being anti. So we definitely going to just kind of worry about our business over here, right? Then, you have, different other immigrant groups. Recently the Haitian community say, hey, why don't y'all say nothing about this and that and the third? And of course, Black Americans did not start nothing accusing Haitians of doing anything with animals that are dogs or cats. It was not us, but yet Black Americans are hearing, why y'all not saying nothing? And y'all should be speaking up. Like, wait a minute. We didn't say it. And we still not saying it. Like, what are you talking about? Right? And when it comes to that, is that people are delineating themselves. They're delineating themselves in their own communities. They always were delineating themselves. If we wanted a coalition with anybody, we wanted a coalition with all the African brothers and sisters that came in here and all the Caribbean brothers and sisters that came in here. At minimum, that's the coalition that Black folks wanted the most. And we never got that coalition. We was always told that, oh, well, I'll watch Boys in the Hood and oh my God, and oh, Black people gonna do me this and if it's not that, oh, well, you're not my culture and my culture is better and I can't be with other people outside my culture. Then you go marry Brad or Becky. They're not your culture. It just bottom line, they're not your culture. But yet you go marry them. Okay, cool. All right, fine. You marry who you want to marry. There's no problem. So after the years of disrespect, at least with that too, right? And then you say you're better, and then we ask, how are you better? Well, we get education. Like, huh? My people built institutions. My people been getting degrees ever since we've been here. Why are you better? Oh, well, 'cause we create businesses. My people have created businesses even during and after slavery. What are you talking about? Our stuff was destroyed. Our stuff was sabotaged. Like, if you think that you're more successful because you got a degree from a university, you got a job, or you got a business, I'm like, it may be the most success you ever have. And hey, I'm happy for you, but you're not better. It's not enough for you to be better. And even if you were better, so what? Even if you were, which you're not, but so what? So a lot of Black Americans that say, okay, we're just going to go over here in our corner and worry about our issues and problems. We're not going back to the old ways, okay? Now, since Black Americans do that, now everybody want to come and say, hey, why y'all not helping us? Why y'all not doing this? Why y'all not doing that? Now I'm seeing all other groups are really talking now and saying, we were being disrespectful. I've been seeing all kind of videos, people saying that. But anyway, we don't need no coalitions, but except within our group. There is at least 45 million Black Americans, about 2 million or so Black immigrants, okay? And I know there's off-code people within Black America. There's off-code people who are Black immigrants, right? If I'm going to unify and join with anybody outside of my ethnic group, I would do it with somebody in the diaspora who's on code. It's a little bit easier for me to do that than join other groups who are not even in the diaspora. That's first and foremost, right? So I have no problem working with the diaspora as long as they're on code. But in Black America, our issues and our problems, we are the coalition that we need. Think about it. If we got on code with each other, and even just 50%, 60% of Black America will get on code with each other, we don't need nobody else. It's 45 million strong. What do we need? Man, 45 million people is larger than some countries throughout the world. Do you know that? There's more Black Americans in America than some countries throughout the world. And if countries with a lesser number than us can run a whole country, then for sure we could unify and be okay. We don't need nobody else outside our group. Sure, we will ally with people who are individuals. That's fine. But we don't need all these other groups coming in here because, as they said, you have different competing issues and problems going on. Nobody that come in here is fighting for reparations. On the contrary, everybody that comes in here is usually against reparations. I can't unify with you if you're against reparations. Matter of fact, that's the litmus test if you want to unify with somebody. Just ask them, do you support reparations for Black Americans in the form of cash payments? And if they say no, like, okay, cool, no problem. That's the litmus test. Just ask them about reparations. Ask them. Because if any immigrant come in here and have a problem with reparations, first of all, they're disrespectful. I don't care where they come from. They're disrespectful. They shouldn't be waiting in that. You know the perfect response for an immigrant, what they should say about that? They should say this. You ask them, hey, you support reparations? Say, yeah, I support it. I do. Hey, I hope y'all get it. I appreciate, what y'all did for my family to come over here. Cause man, we doing great in America. I appreciate that. That's all you got to say. And go live your life and do good. No, you want to have contempt. Some of you, not all. Some, not all. Or you get in positions of power. You get in positions of power. And then they say you're a Black representation. But yet you go in there being against Black Americans. And we've seen too many of that, so much so that's why Black Americans are saying this. Rhonda says she's against the Democrats. She say she voted against them no matter who. Prime says John Henry Clark told us. He said we all we got. It's the FBA. Look in the mirror. Exactly. We all we have, ladies and gentlemen. That's it. We are all we have. We got to stop having so much low self-esteem that we need to go look for other groups outside of ourselves to do for self. Do you see other groups begging for us to come join them? And the only time they want us to join is when they got a problem. But when we got problems, where they at? Where are they at advocating for our hate crime bill? Since everybody want to, ally, but nobody's asking to ally. That's the thing. So Martin Luther King III, bruh, can you stop? Can you stop? Nobody wants to hear that old, tired stuff that you're promoting. It's a new day. It's a new time. We have seen the error in your ways, sir, because you're part of the older generation. We've seen the error in your ways, and we've seen it didn't work. Because if it had worked during your time, then we would still be having this coalition and everybody be working together. As Maria said, when you have a portion of them who wants to be white, what do you do with that? My people can't be white, even if they wanted to. Even when they try to sell out, they will be reminded, you are Black. You are not us. We can never assimilate. And that's one of the biggest things that other groups have about us is that we are always a shining reminder that you don't have to assimilate, you don't have to bow down, you don't have to do anything, and you can still keep your respect and dignity. Some of these other groups come in here and they've done some foul things to get a green card. You better believe, listen, P. Diddy isn't the only one that's doing some things. You go do some research on some of these people in these U.S. embassies, what they doing over there. It put P. Diddy to shame. And that's for real. But we don't need nobody else, man. The only thing we need is ourselves, of course, God, but we don't need nobody else. It's enough of us in this country to work together to get everything we need. It's enough. Yeah. Jay Secor, we tried that mess already, and we trying something different. Finally, we're saying we can do it on our own. We don't need nobody else. Did we need anybody else to help us fight back during slavery? Because yes, there was plenty of slave revolts. Where was some other groups helping us then? They wasn't there to help. After slavery, all the different things that we went through, all the different things that we fought for, did the other groups help us build Black Wall Street? Did other groups help us build the 60 plus towns, not neighborhoods, towns that Black Americans built with their own hands? Did other groups help us build that? Did other groups help us with all the inventions that we created in America, how we innovated America? Some of the inventions right now is in every country of the world right now. Did other groups help us do that? Did other groups help us navigate during Jim Crow? Did other groups help us during the Civil Rights Movement? They'll say, well, there was a couple of Jewish people and there was a couple of individuals. It wasn't everybody in their group. It was individuals. Well, this Hispanic person, it was an individual or a couple of individuals. It wasn't the group. Sure, we'll give credit to the group. To the individuals. Sure. Well, this white person, we'll give credit to that one white person or those few white people. Sure, we'll do that as an ally, but it's not a group. When it came to the overwhelming majority who was taking the slings and arrows, it wasn't other groups. Now, let's bring up what they always talk about, Selma. Was it other groups getting whipped on in Selma? No, it wasn't other groups. Was it a bunch of other groups out there with us getting hosed down and getting bit by dogs? Where's other groups that had their churches blown up by the Klan? Where's that at? In the way it happened to Black Americans. Every movement we have been a part of have helped out throughout the world. If Martin Luther King and them other brothers and sisters and say, you know what, let's get some of our brothers and sisters from the diaspora over here because that can be some allies for us. Because they're letting every European that come from wherever they want in here. Why can't it be some people from the diaspora? And so Black Americans thought at the time, well, look, we get our brothers and sisters over here. They can come in the community, give us some definitely more numbers or whatever. And that's just not really what happened in the end. Now, some of the Caribbean ones, some of them was on code a little bit more, definitely in the 1960s. But we fast forward later, nobody wanted to be on code. But we know that was by design because the embassies made sure to select those who don't want to stand up, who don't want to unify, who was a problem even in their own homeland. And this one video I'm going to do with this one sister was saying, hey, we all not like that. We as Africans, we not all like that. Listen, I know you're not. Trust me. And listen, not all African immigrants in this country is like that either. Because I'm telling you, when I talk to plenty of African immigrants in America, especially when I'm in the street, and there's no issue and problem, none. But you got some that get online and run off of their mouth and they try to act like they're the representation. Now, my issue is not really somebody who's like, well, you're not my culture, so I don't care about that. But my issue and problem is more so when you begin the political position. That's when it's my problem. Because now you're undermining us and saying you're black. And then, you know what I'm saying? It's enough we got FBAs doing it, like in California, because there was plenty of FBAs in there, too, undermine it. Isn't that we got our own to deal with, and then you coming on top of doing it too? So that's the issue and problem that we have. But we don't need no other groups. Get out of that. They're not coming to save you. They're not coming to save you. Okay, now Prime said, look at how the white supremacist media is trying to cover up the powerful hand on the side for Asheville hurricane. Well, look, this is what I'm going to say about that. I'm going to say this about the hurricane. Of course, anybody who's dealing with that hurricane, trust me, I know because we dealt with Beryl. I don't wish that on nobody, okay? I don't wish nobody not had their lights. I don't wish nobody to not have, medical supplies, food. I don't wish that on no human being. None, okay? I don't celebrate that. I don't do anything. Let me tell you about that. My issue with that. Biden. Your boy Biden, people asking for help. Your boy Biden is not helping them. Your girl Kamala, now this is her time to show that she's presidential. She in Las Vegas raising money. But you got a lot of American citizens in turmoil right now because of the hurricane. Now, prior to the hurricane, your boy Biden just said, well, you know what? I'm about to give $8 billion to Israel for arms and this and that and the third. But when American citizens need about $8 billion, oh, well, the money, hey, other people need the help. Huh? Wait a minute. This was the time for Kamala to shine, to act like, hey, this would look like if I become president, Kamala Harris. And she's nowhere near it. She's nowhere near. It's sad that Trump, who's not the president, it went over there with them people. Once again, I know how it feels to have destruction from a hurricane. I know how it feels not to have your lights and all your food is ruined. I recently dealt with that. All my food in my deep freezer, my refrigerator, I had to throw 3 big, huge them black trash bags of food away. Okay, you go try to get some FEMA. The amount of FEMA they give you really won't replace everything. And then they slow to give you the FEMA. Trust me, I don't wish that on nobody. None. I see some people talking about, it hit some sundown towns or whatever. Maybe it did, but it's also hit some areas of black people are living too. You can't tell me it didn't hit where black people are living because no. It did hit places where black Americans are living. And once again, I don't wish no harm to any group of people, period. Actually, right now, and this is right before an election, it's showing you what the Biden-Harris administration thinks about y'all as Americans. They don't care. They don't care about you. But if something happened to the migrants, paper them, that's help them. We can't have nothing happen to them. But with American citizens, you can say screw American citizens. That same $8 billion you talking about you sending to Israel, say, no, we're not sending that. Let's get this $8 billion and help out the American citizens because I'm the president of America and I'm supposed to help my people first. See, let me tell y'all something with this hurricane thing. Let me tell y'all something. Any American that listen to me right now, you're a fool and a half if you go support any presidential candidate who is not America first, Americans first. You matter way more than any other group outside this country. The whole world can go to hell in a handbasket as long as you're taken care of, because that's what your government is supposed to do for you. Your government don't supposed to be taking care of any other group, any other country, foreign wars, and all this other. Let's call it what it is. All that mess is happening in the Middle East right now is because this country is fueling it with all the weapons and money. If they say, you know what, I'm not giving no more, you on your own. Do what you're going to do. I can't control you, but you're on your own. I got my own people to worry about. It'll stop right now. It'll stop. Boom. Y'all better think that when y'all go to vote, you have to think Americans first. And I'm hearing Americans of every group saying, hey, why these people are not sitting up here prioritizing us. I'm seeing that from Americans of all communities. Well, y'all better think about that. Like Felicia said, I'm remember that. Well, be like Felicia. I'm remember that on election day. Felicia from Friday, shout out to her. Rhonda says Trump is being presidential. What did they say? They say lying to brother in Carolina not too long ago. Phil, I don't know what you're talking about. But remember that on election day, that when y'all were in need, dire need, you pay taxes. Your tax is supposed to come back to you when you have a need like that. Your government not supposed to be prioritizing foreign wars. Your government not supposed to be prioritizing it. And look at what's going on. Like, first it was getting Hamas. Okay, fine. Then it went to Lebanon. What Lebanon had to do with it? Then went to Iran. And then it's like, bro, like how much more y'all trying to start in this Middle East? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and y'all do know if they get in some sort of conflict, they're going to be trying to draft you to come and go into their military. But good luck with that one. Oh, good luck with that one. I want to see the day that happened. But when it comes to this situation with this hurricane, I feel for them people. I feel for, because I've been through too many hurricanes. I feel for them. Oh, I feel for them. God, I feel for them. Then you have on top of that looters, just all kind of people. It's crazy. Society literally kind of broken down to a point, and so that is one of them times that you're going to be happy that you are practicing your 2A, because the police can't get to you in a lot of those instances. So you better protect yourself. I'm telling you, I know about it. Because at one time there was a hurricane over here, and they even told you, hey, you have any issues, you can call, but the police may not be able to get to you in time. And they was telling you that. And you got a bunch of people roaming around trying to loot, break in or whatever. Who gonna protect you? You gonna have to protect yourself. But while that's going on, Biden want to send billions to other countries, and Kamala Harris is in Vegas raising money. But ski-wee, right? She gonna ski-wee herself all the way to the White House, and y'all gonna help her, right? It's sad. It's really sad. Hold on. Somebody said something. Yeah, it's a lot of our people caught in that right now. It's a lot. But the government's supposed to be helping everybody because they so quick to take our taxes. They so quick to take that tax. You don't pay that tax, the IRS sending you a letter real quick. Hey, you owe taxes and this and that and the third. And you don't pay it, then they want to garnish your check, garnish your bank account, take it to tax court. Oh, they quick to try to get at you about owing taxes. But when it's time for them tax dollars to come to Americans, I ain't got it. Acting like, and shout out to Tasha K, I ain't got it. That's what they tell for Americans. When you're migrants, they got it. Oh, you say over 100 people died so far? Yeah, oh my God. That's not good, man. That's not good. Like I said, I'm going to tell y'all what. The older I get, the more I'm starting to loathe hurricanes. And I've been living in the hurricane zone my whole life. Coming from Port Arthur to, here in the Houston area. I've been living with hurricanes, and I'm telling you, it's just annoying. It is so annoying with hurricanes. Now, in the African continent, they don't even get hurricanes. They don't even get them. But they come off the west coast of Africa. If you pay attention to them, most of them either come from the west coast of Africa, or maybe some of them will get some, coming off the Pacific, but it's kind of rare. Or some may just even get started in the Gulf sometime, right? But a lot of them come from the west coast of Africa. They're not hit with hurricanes and all of that. So that's one good thing, at least about over there. You say many more are missing? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know. And all of the mosquitoes that's gonna be breeding in that water. Oh my God, 'cause mosquitoes breed in water. It's just trying to protect yourself. Then you're trying, like they said, they fighting for gas. They fighting for food. Then you got this strike going on right now, which don't make it no better. Then on top of the strike, they said that Biden, the dude with the union got on the phone with Biden, and Biden was like, "Hey, Biden, you can end this strike right now. Just make the call." No, I'm not going to get involved with collective bargaining agreements and all of that. So you wanted the strike to happen. That's what it says. So I want y'all to see this strike they doing with that too. So you got this hurricane and tore up a lot of people in America, and Biden Harris didn't do nothing about the strike because they don't care. They don't care about Americans. And them two, they probably won't want Americans to suffer a little bit. Maybe. Who knows with them? But it's all about vibes and joy, right? Well, you can't bring vibes and joy when people dying and people don't have food and other supplies. Can't really do too many vibes and joy that way. At least last time I checked. You say it's 3 more hurricanes possibly on the way. Yeah, see that kind of stuff right there, about hurricane. I hate hurricanes. I'm so over them. Trust me, I'm over hurricanes, especially this year. And when Beryl hit, it wasn't about it was so damaging. It's just what happened with the light situation here that was just ridiculous. Hurricanes, Jay, has been around for a lot. Listen, I've dealt with hurricanes all my life, so there's nothing new. All right, everybody. It's almost about that time. So thank y'all for joining us on the stream tonight. We greatly appreciate it. Make sure you click the subscribe button. Make sure you click the like button. If you are watching us, here on, the app or YouTube, and even if we're now streaming on Twitch as well, want to spread out the live streams to more platforms. But thank y'all for listening.